Hello, I'm your Kingdom Spiritual Transformational and Life Purpose Life Coach and Mentor, Latricia Booker. And I'm popping in on you to tell you that your enemies made the wrong move. Your enemies made the wrong move. And so I'm going to lead this message with Romans 8:37. And it says, "What shall we then say to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us?" Kingdom people. The part, what shall we then say to these things, always tickle me every time I read it. It tickles me because it's like, what shall we say about these things? If God be for us, who can be against us? What shall we say about that? What should we say about these things? Kingdom people, if God be for you, who can be against you? Your enemies made the wrong move because God is for you. So how dare they come against you? If God be for you, who dare do witchcraft on you? If God be for you, who dare try to cast spells and put curses on you? If God be for you, kingdom people, who dare try to put hexes on you and do voodoo on you? If God be for you, kingdom people, who dare slander your name and gossip about you? If God be for you, who dare try to sabotage and hinder your growth and progress? Try to keep you from moving into what God is calling you to. If God be for you, who dare try to stop you? If God be for you, who dare think they can defeat you? If God be for you, who dare think they can take you down? If God be for you, who dare think you will fail? If God be for you, kingdom people, who dare would even think about, furthermore, do attempt to do damage to you, try to destroy your life? Kingdom people, if God be for you, who dare harbor hatred and jealousy in their hearts for you, hoping and wishing that you don't do well, that you don't prosper, hoping and wishing that you fall? If God be for you, who dare? Who dare come against you? Your enemies made the wrong move. I just heard your enemies are always making the wrong move. They always make the wrong move. And so upon reflecting upon this message this morning, God just took me down memory lane. Not in my life, kingdom people, but through the scriptures. God was for Mordecai and Esther, kingdom people. But who dare will come against them? Haman. Kingdom people. God was for Joseph, but who dare come against them? His brothers. And what's his name's wife? Kingdom people. I can go on and on and on and on. If God be for Elijah, just reading about that, who dare come against him? Well, the main one was Jezebel. And we know what happened to her. Because she made the wrong move. Your enemies made the wrong move. Your enemies, that's just what they do. They make the wrong moves. If God be for you, what they think they doing, kingdom people? And listen, I was thinking about how, you know, over a certain period of time, God allows grace. God is a merciful God. So he gives your enemies, and some of them end up becoming where they was always your enemies. It just grew into a bigger, some of them grow into bigger enemies. And what I mean by that is God gives them time to change their hearts, to change their minds towards you. And they don't. And it just grows into a deeper, you know, jealousy towards you, hatred towards you, or trying to keep you from moving forward. And so what was on my spirit, God had just had this on me, sharing some things with me concerning some people that I know, that I used to deal with. And, you know, I must just have to say it. God is telling me I just have to kind of say it. Some family. And what happened was, kingdom people, you know, as long as you kind of seem like you know, in a certain place, they be all right with you. But at the back of their mind, they don't want you to move into what God is calling you to. They see it on you. And it's not everybody, you know, but for those who it apply to, they see it on you, but they don't never want you to tap into that. They harbor this jealousy for you, even if they being cool with you. They harbor this jealousy for you. And so what happens is when you actually start moving and see, let me say this part. While during that period before God move you into it and say, come on, let's go, until he level you up, that's their opportunity and their chance to, you know, work through that with their feeling. You know, because if you don't deal with that and address that, it don't go nowhere. So kingdom people, that was their grace period. That was their time to deal with the condition of their heart. In this case, where it concerns you. And so what happens, kingdom people, is when God really started having you put the pedal to the metal, he had you to step out on faith, had you to step out of, you know, your familiarity, so to speak. Because they have not dealt with the conditions of their heart where you're concerned, and probably just period, because, you know, these people tend to be. What happens is when you start leveling up or start doing things outside of your norm, they kind of lose it. And they really go an extra mile to try to stop you and block you and keep you from moving forward. And I'm just hearing slandering your name, gossiping about you, saying, ooh, you crazy, all kind of stuff. I've experienced this. But here's the thing. Your enemies made the wrong move, because again, kingdom people, if God be for you, what are you doing? And they be knowing that it's God. They know what it is. And for those who do, and in this case, these ones do. But here's the thing, kingdom people. They can't stop what God is doing in your life. And part of why, I know for me personally, you know, God had just reminded me of this today. How right before he moved me, I was already starting. But what was happening is, and it's just, you know, I ain't gonna go into that part. As God started moving me in a certain direction that nobody saw coming, he began to make me aware of who's who, what's what. This is what's going on. This is what's been going on behind the scenes all along. This is the problem with them. This is the problem with them. This is the problem. And overall, what it all came down to is, you know, some of them are like proactively going against me. But some are just hindering spirits. They're just a hindrance to you. And then a lot of it's because they, you know, they just plateau where they are. And again, don't want to see me move into what God has for me. That's a hindering spirit all by itself. If somebody don't want the best for you, and I'm not saying it out their mouth, I'm talking about really meaning it. It's what's in your heart. And God knows what's in the heart of all men. So they can try to hide it from you, and God will reveal it to you. But the overall thing is they can't hide it from God. So what happened was God was showing me how the reason why he began to show me what's what and who's who and what's been going on and how this a problem, you got to let them all go, is because if I would have kept trying to move in that thing, still been around them, it would have been worse than what it was. In other words, their attacks and their behavior towards me would have been worse, because I was starting to, see little stuff more where they was obvious attacks, where it was obvious that these people are not for me. These people, and then you could feel them. You could pick up on their energy and certain things they do and say. And so that was God giving me a preview into what it could have been. But what happened was God removed me, because once they see me going in started seeing me going in a certain direction, they didn't want that to happen. They wanted to stop that. So God had to completely remove me from them before he actually elevated me. Furthermore, the other part of it is this. God said something. He keep repeating this. He just repeated this to me again the other day. He said that the only way I can get to where he's taking me is to not be connected to them, to not be around them. Because again, they're hindering spirits. They're hindrances. They don't want to see me move into what God has called me to be and do. And so it's the same with you, kingdom people. You have people, it could be family, because a lot of us tend to experience that. A lot of God's anointed. And I'm just reminded of the scripture, how the houses is going to be divided. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Because, and that just could even go for family. And sometimes it do be in your own house, because you could be married to somebody that becomes your enemy, and there's division because you walking up right before God, or you moving in the way God trying to take you, and they trying to take you in the opposite direction. They don't want to go where God is going. They don't want to go where God is taking you. They don't want to go where God may be trying to take y'all. So they try to become a hindrance to you. But kingdom people, your enemies made the wrong move. Because listen to this, if God be for you, and in many cases God was for them. But again, they didn't go with what God was doing. And because you wanted to, because you chose to, and I'm just hearing, I don't even want to say what I'm hearing. I'm hearing a lot of these people, they just want to abuse. They just want to try to keep you under them and abuse you, mishandle. And when I say abuse, I also mean in a way to try to put you in a place to make you feel less than, in a way to try to make you not feel like who you are in God. And as I just said, that's because that's how they feel. But they need to push you down and make you feel less of yourself to give them a sense of feeling good about themselves. And it's all a lie, and they know it. It was on me this morning. They be feeding that demonic ego. I heard that as clear as day. Because at that point, that ego is demonic. But anyway, I don't mean to get off track, but that just all just kind of came right at me. But anyhow, kingdom people, so here's the thing. It ain't up to them. If they didn't want to go God's way, and you choose to, God made you let them go. You had to let them go. You wanted to let them go. At some point, you get to where you don't even want, listen. I was talking to a group of women the other day at an event that I was at this past weekend. And, you know, in talking, I just kind of shared, you know, how I had left here and went there. And, you know, from one place to another, you know, I was sharing my little journey of moving from different places. And I was sharing how, you know, when I left from one place to another, I had separated, and then, you know, ended up divorcing the person I used to be married to. And I don't never say my ex. I hear people saying that, but I never say that, because to me, my is claiming it. And so I say the person I used to be married to. So anyhow, that just kind of was mentioned. So after I said, you know, what I was saying, one of the ladies asked me about, well, what happened with your marriage? And I said, well, it was good at first. And then I started laughing. And I said, but isn't it always? Because otherwise we wouldn't do it. So she was saying, and then I went on to kind of share kind of what was happening. Not in detail, but just kind of how I was going in one direction and wanted to go in a different. And I just wasn't with it. I just kind of summarized it in that way for the little time that we had in that moment. And she said, you know, she was sharing about someone who was speaking about in statistics, not statistics, but someone had been mentioning someone of relevance. I can't remember exactly who she was saying, but she was saying that they were saying that there's going to be more divorces. Divorce rates were going to go up, especially, you know, and she was speaking specifically about where people who are going in God's direction. And I said, yeah, that's because, and that's when I mentioned that scripture, how the scriptures say houses are going to be divided. That's because there are those who are walking up right before God, following him his way, turning away from everything else from the world. And then the other partner, they want to go the world's way. They want to go the devil's route. And so it's a division. So I'm just saying all that to say, your enemies made the wrong move. And many times, unfortunately, when you want to go God's way and they want to go the devil's way, they become your enemy, kingdom people. The person you used to be married to. In those instances where this applies, they become your enemy. They be trying to keep you from moving forward. They don't want to see you do well. They don't want to see you prosper, you know. But again, if God be for you, who dare? try to keep you from moving forward because you don't want to follow them and the devil. They made the wrong move, kingdom people. And that goes for anybody who ever in their entire existence, or should I say in your entire life, ever came up against you. It don't matter where you was when it happened, or who you was, or where you think you were. What I'm saying is, if you didn't think you were really upright before God like that, it kind of don't matter, because God, he always had this plan for you. And I'm gonna take it a step further and say he always knew you would follow him when he said, "Come on." He knew. So he was always protecting you. He always had his hand on you. He always wasn't with those who was coming against you. He always protected you. Did he allow you to experience certain things and go through certain things? Absolutely yes, because you have to. In this world, you're going to have some trials and some tribulations. But he already overcame the world, so you can have peace. He let us know all that so that we can have peace. But kingdom people, listen, even though we went through some things at the hand of some people, or they attempted to cause us to go through some things, you know, trying to come against us, I'm hearing word curse us and scandalize our name and sabotage and plot this and plot that and sit up and hope and go to the practitioners, the whatever they are, the witch doctors, try to get them to do their hoodoo, voodoo, shuku on us, kingdom people. Listen, if God be for us, who dare do any of that? Who dare try to stop the plan of God for your life? Kingdom people, your enemies made the wrong move. And that is all I have to say about that. So if you like this video and or if it resonates with you, please just go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Then click on that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. Thank you. Make sure you go ahead and ring my bell. Ring my bell. Ring my bell so that you can receive a notification every time I upload a new video. If there is any information you need to know about me, you can find all that right down below in the description box, along with other helpful resources. Kingdom people, thank you all so very much for being here. Thank you for your likes, subscribe, shares, your comments, feedback, for all your financial contributions to my channel, and for all the seeds that you sow into me and my ministry. Kingdom people, thank you. Kingdom people, I love you all so very much. I really don't want to leave you, but I do have to go right now. But I will be back to hold my kingdom people down. Now, kingdom people, above all else, let the Holy Spirit lead you in all things at all times. Kingdom people, we are untouchable, we are unmovable, we are unbreakable, and we are unstoppable. Kingdom people, keep growing, keep going, and go and be great. That is our time. This Jesus girl is out. Peace.